Hey, I'm Brody Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.
Thanks so much, Brody. Good evening to you, Sharks fans, whether you're watching local or anything. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark, your live and interactive Sharks post-game show. If you want to be a part of the show, you know the drill. Hi, everyone. Join us in the YouTube chat, whether on the page or the app. You can hashtag or at us at Teal Town USA. You can also hit us on all of the social media channels, or as the kids say, the Skosh or the Soch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it. You got it. You love it. Good evening, everyone. I'm Erik Kuhre. You can always follow me at PuckGuy14. Joining me tonight, the Chris Mullen to the Tim Hardaway. He is AJ Strong.
That will be the final Warriors reference of the show.
And also joining us, Miss Evidently, Miss Rocket Backhander. How are you, my dear?
And as always, Rocket's microphone is not working, so we move on. She literally could be right here talking. Oh, now? Hey, look at this. Hey. Who's in the house?
Hello. Hi. My name's Rocket. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to have to just sit like this and talk, aren't I?
All right. How very Felix of you. I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. So,
okay.
The Sharks try to restart a winning streak after losing 5-1 to the Washington Capitals. They take on the, let me get in here, AJ, Vancouver Canucks.
Oh boy.
On Hockey Night in Canada and on Warriors Night.
I'm going to dig out my Visa and start putting money towards the No Shorthouse Impressions Fund.
Oh, come on. It's fun. All right. So let's review this game as the Sharks try to get back on the winning side. 2:03 in. Mr. Pouliot delivers a puck to Randy Hahn. Puck over the glass. Our Sharks get an early power play on this one. And they would cash in as Timo Meier gets his 21st of the season. That guy, Erik Karlsson, yes, he makes his return to the Sharks roster bench tonight and gets a primary assist on the power play goal, as does Evander Kane.
Oh, good for him. I'm telling you.
Oh, good for you.
That's
Whoopity-doo.
No, let's be honest. Meier was on a not very good streak for a while, but seems to have come out of it a little bit over the last couple of games. Let's hope that keeps rolling. We were just incredibly intrigued and just loving the Hurdle Kane Donskoy line. So it's nice to see the Couture line start to get a little heated up, shall we say.
They need to get rolling, and also that power play, it continues to move along very nicely. However, just a little under a minute after Meier gets things going with the icebreaker, that little ball of hate that we call Antoine Roussel walks right in and scores his 7th of the season.
Was he the same douchebag that was holding Meier down later?
That would be correct.
Yeah,
sir.
that's what I thought. What a tool.
He does have a little bit of a scoring touch, Rocket, but
Sorry.
But this game is tied up at 1 after a little bit under 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it was a very quick and peppy response from the Vancouver Canucks, and it made me a little bit nervous to see if maybe perhaps they would maintain that, or it was unsustainable. Unfortunately, we found out that it was unsustainable for Vancouver, so hey.
For sure. Although, AJ, if I'm not mistaken, either Randy or Bakes mentioned it on podcast tonight.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh, whatever.
yeah. And so it begins.
It begins.
So it begins. Whatever. But AJ, isn't this like the 20-somethingth game that Martin Jones gives up a goal less than 5 minutes in?
No, they said Randy Hahn said this was like the 41st game, dude. I mean, it is insane.
Yes.
Now Jones has that thing where he'll let in one goal, and then he pretty much goes on lockdown for the rest of the game. Was the first goal something he should have had? Debatable. I kind of lean towards that breakaway. That's something you gotta have. He's not gonna have that every time. I'm not saying he's gonna have those every time. But on occasion, you got to be able to stop those. And it seems this season, breakaways have been the Achilles heel for Martin Jones this season.
It has. Although he has recovered nicely in a lot of those games this season, so that's good to see. But then right after that, the Sharks would begin somewhat of a parade to the penalty box tonight. Erik Karlsson on an iffy tripping call, to say the least, at 5:25. I mean, it just seems that seemed a little iffy. Didn't seem like more like what was it? Bo Horvat went more into Karlsson than Karlsson went into Horvat, but I digress.
Hold on. Let's address something in the chat real quick here. Davey Pilot saying Jones is a tire fire. Sharks are definitely looking for a goalie at the deadline. Now, I'm not going to say Jones is a tire fire. The guy's carried like a 937 since the All-Star break. He's also has like an amazing amount of wins since December, but he had the crappy game against Washington. Patrick Waugh had, and I'm not equating, because I know everybody likes to take everything to the extreme. I'm not equating Jones with Patrick Waugh or Marty Brodeur or anything like that. I'm just saying every goalie has those games where they shit the bed. It happens. But you take the Washington game out of the equation, and what has Martin Jones done since the All-Star break? He's at like 935, 937, right in that area. Tonight, 941. So he's right where you want him to be. You're going to have those occasional bed shitting moments. It happens with every team. I don't have a problem with that, and I wouldn't even look at trying to make a trade for somebody. I think if for some reason the wheels come the hell off, you have Cornash, you have Bebo. I don't think you need to look anywhere like that. I don't see the Sharks looking for a goalie at all during the deadline. I wouldn't call him a tire fire by any stretch. Does he have to be a little bit better? Yes, he does. But, hello, 2 goals a game, in 6 of the last 7 games. I'm fine with that. Jones at 922 since the All-Star break prior to tonight. Yeah, okay, because the Washington game threw his average off.
I just want to know, who are we looking at to replace Jones? Who?
Also a great point. Definitely not Cam Talbot.
Right?
I'm kidding. And I know people are going to say Bobrovsky or something like that. No, I just don't think that there's anybody out there to be had. No. And I think it's that whole idea of the answer is in the room. It's in the room next door to the room.
Hey, now.
But Cornash. Yeah. But I like how Rocket used that. That was good. It's in the room next to the room. Hey, Rock!
Hey!
Not gonna lie, it's definitely not Antoine Bibeau after the day he had today, but we'll get into that a little later in the show. 11:18, Biega cross-checks Donskoy's back to put him in, to make a imprint into the boards.
Dude, I see something like
out of that.
I see something like that. I almost want to make that a 4-minute. I cannot believe how dangerous that was.
That was a little iffy, and well, I won't even say iffy. I actually saw it go right into the boards, but the Sharks can't capitalize. So unfortunately, the Canucks are going to have another field day with those. And Rocket calls it. LeBanc takes a tripping call.
What did I say? As soon as it happened, I said Kevin LeBanc went to the box. Sharks are winning this game. Foreseen.
Uh-oh. We need to get her into the game with Hockey Jerk.
All we needed was Sandstorm, and then it's really a Sharks game now.
You know, I was really, really expecting Sandstorm tonight. I was kind of disappointed by it.
They might have played it. It was just drowned out by all the whoosh bags.
They did not, because like I had the special feed. I could hear everything.
Oh,
but
can we talk about Rocket's special feed for one hot second?
Yeah, let's talk about my special feed.
That was the coolest thing ever tonight. Dude, she's watching it on her laptop with the earbuds in, and for some reason, if she unplugs the earbuds, full-blown audio with Randy and Bakes, no problem. She plugs in the earpods, and for some reason, just on ice microphones, no broadcasting.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's the coolest thing ever. And I remember there used to back in the day, whenever I had a bigger, like a surround sound system, and if I would just turn on the back speakers, I could get almost the exact same thing. Like you'd hear a very faint hint, but it was the coolest way to watch a game. Like at the very least, to just do it for a period. It's so cool. But anyway, I digress.
It's fun. I mean, nothing against Randy and Jamie. No, nothing against the Sharks broadcasters at all. But sometimes it's just easier to focus on the game if you have the game in front of you and you're hearing the game in front of you, and that's all. Like if you don't have that, your only options are to mute everything, and then you don't get any of the sound, and it's just not. It's not easy.
No.
And that authentic feel.
Exactly.
Right.
So cool.
Right.
Now, Matt pointing out in the chat, oddly enough, when the whoosh bags came out, we ended up scoring. Yeah, coincidences happen all the time. Let me show you a mountain of video where that is not the case. But okay, that one time.
Hey, Russian Sharks fans. Woo.
Matt also suggesting Ric Flair Drip could be our goal song.
Okay.
All right. That was good.
Moving on to the second period. Moving on to the second period, 2:34. Timo Meier crashes the net, takes a goaltender interference call. Wouldn't be the first time he does that on this night. Nothing comes of it. But then we get to the point where Timo takes gets pushed by Troy Stetcher into Markstrom, and then Antoine Roussel's like, I feel like a douchebag. I'm just gonna sit on top of him and then push his head into the ice.
Dude, how creepy was that at the end with the sweet nothings?
And yeah, there's that. And the one thing I have a mind about it is that the referee or linesman don't break that up. No, they prevent anybody else to come over to beat the crap out of him. So like, hello.
Well, that's one of those things where wasn't it Kane that basically once Kane came over, all of a sudden everything stopped. That's one of those things that, again, that it's something historically that the Sharks have caught hell for, is that they don't stand up for each other sometimes. We saw it happen when LeBanc took the shot to the face of it and his head bounced off the glass and nobody really stood up. Yeah, so unfortunately, that is something that the Sharks are historically known for, just like Vancouver is historically known for diving. It's just, it's, what do they say? Cliches become a cliche for a reason.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. It's got to be something with the Canucks and Sharks in San Jose. I remember seeing this move like nearly 20 years ago with Ulf Dahlin and Dana Merzen, where Merzen just takes out Dahlin and then just knees him while his head is on the ice, and the referees call nothing again. So I guess that's okay. But moving onward,
And thank you, Matt, for your woo in the chat.
Well, we were woohooing as Logan Couture got his 21st of the season. A play started up by EK65, then Pavs and Burns get the actual assist. Couture, his 21st. Rocket, what did you think of the 2-1 goal there?
I think Logan Couture is severely underrated.
Okay, by anybody but Brody Brazil.
Yeah. No, I think but that's sort of like how this team needs to be. You know, just the fin above water. Everything else is super stealthy, including Logan Couture. My God, that kid. I mean, he's a man, but he's a man. He's so silky. And yeah, he's a little bit subtle in spots, but his game is always focused and he always wants to just sneak it in and pound it into the back of the net. Where Mama hides the cookies.
Oh, I feel like we've already gone after dark. It's so early. Okay.
Hey now.
Hey now. Say hey now.
Silky Couture.
I
feel like we should probably move on to the third. But before we do, though, my issue, though, the second period, can we see some sort of concerted effort, like players, the coaches, whoever it takes, to stop getting outshot in the second? You know, in the first, Sharks outshot Vancouver something like 12-7 or somewhere in there. Like that's decent. But the second you get outshot 19-6, I mean, what in the hell? And this is not an anomaly. This has been something that has consistently happened over the course of this season, where if the Sharks are tied or they're up in the first, it seems to be they just kind of sleepwalk. Now, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that you have the long change during the second, but it's definitely something I'd like to see the Sharks work on as we get closer to the playoffs. This thing of just giving up the second period is very annoying.
Maybe it's not just them, though. Maybe a little bit of it is the opposing team making adjustments from the first period and San Jose not responding to those adjustments, not responding to that team with those adjustments. They're still playing the first period opponent. So the first period opponent.
That's a hell of an adjustment, though, to give up 19 shots in a period.
Well, I mean, yeah, but Erik Karlsson took something like 20 games to adjust to the San Jose Sharks, so you can take that argument and stick it where the sun don't shine.
Okay. Adjusting over the course of 10 minutes versus over the course of 20 games.
Right.
Coach different.
Yeah, exactly. So if they can't make that adjustment in one game or 20 minutes and it's not okay, why is it okay for somebody to take 20 games to make an adjustment? That's what I'm saying.
But that's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges. A player adjusting to a brand new team after playing somewhere for like 9-10 years, that's one thing. A team consistently giving up way too many goals in the second period over.
Do they give up goals or they have diminished
I'm
shots?
sorry. That was my bad. Not goals. I meant giving up way too many shots. That you lead you consistently lead the shot clock in the first and the third, but you consistently are on the other end during the second.
Yes,
if those numbers, change, that it was like, well, it was the first period they gave up too many this one, or it was the third this one, that'd be fine. But go and look at like the last 30 games. The second period is the Achilles heel for this team. Maybe it is that long change. I don't know, but I blame everything on Don Cherry. Nobody wants to have fun.
That guy has forgotten more about hockey than I will ever learn.
And yet still a tool. Calling the Canes jerks for having a good time.
Dave says the Sharks actually give up a lot of shots and goals in the second. They are minus in goals in the second period. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. So how does this team figure out the long change after 40-something games then?
Well, I mean, if they haven't done it already, you know what? Let's switch the coaches around again. That worked for a while after Montreal in December. You know,
totally. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's
fabulous.
pretty well.
Yeah, it's great.
Musical coaches for sure there.
Yeah. So that's enough for the second. Let's get into third.
Yeah.
Third
period.
Sorry, go ahead.
This guy comes right in and scores. Brock Besser.
Oh God.
Pedersen and Pouliot get the goal at 4:30, or get the assist on the goal that ties up this game at 4:31. Say what you will, but about the Sedins leaving and there being no scoring, Pedersen and Besser have really done a phenomenal job for the Canucks this year.
Okay,
I mean, watch out for them in years to come.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
I clearly the person who said, well, now with the Sedins being gone, the scoring's going to go down and blah, 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 blah. Clearly, they had no idea what Pedersen was going to be. No one had any idea that Pedersen was going to be like this. Let's be honest. I'll give you that. But to sit there and say, well, that the scoring's going to go away, and it's like, dude, this team still has Horvat, Besser, Tanev. This team has some talent. You have to give it up. Now, I'm not going to lob Goldobin in there by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, sorry, just not going to do it. But I mean, Pouliot, Levo, that's another one. Louis Eriksson. I mean, there is some talent on here. Roussel, hello, bit of a douche, but he did score tonight. Only his 7th on the season, but either way, they do have a little bit here and there. I want to give it up, though, to McEwen tonight for leading the Canucks with the short stick on ice time at a whopping 2:34.
Wow.
2:34 of ice time. If that doesn't say confidence in your game, I don't know what else.
so he wanted to make sure he was on the score sheet. That's why he fought Barclay Goodrow right after the Couture goal, right?
Chris in the chat, I don't know what annoys me more, people who complain about the Canes or people who complain about the Canes. Complainception.
Yeah. But
Cane plainception.
But earlier, Chris said Don Cherry is just the get off my lawn dude.
100% correct.
And those are words that I literally spoke to Rocket about an hour ago.
This is true. You are not lying.
Yeah. So, anyway.
At 6:09, Pouliot takes a slashing call. Sharks come up with a no-for on the power play.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who heard that, but go ahead, Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you think? It seemed like it was going back and forth in the third period here, guys. I mean, and up until Pavelski getting, the break, the stolen pass to keep the puck in the zone from Meier and Couture at 13:06. I thought this game was going back and forth and was anybody's game. Yes, it was 2-2, but I mean, it was somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean,
Canucks are tired.
My bit is I thought the Sharks played a really solid first period. Their power play, even though they didn't score on that second power play, it looked fantastic. They got off a ton load of good looks. It literally did everything but score. It was a fantastic power play. I still can't get over that it didn't score, to be honest with you. Tons of shots on goal. I think they kept the puck in the offensive zone nearly the entire 2 minutes. So they were looking good there. Second period, everything went sideways. All of a sudden, they're giving up 19 shots on goal. They're having a hard time clearing their zone. They're not controlling the neutral zone well. And then, as you're saying, Eric, third period was a free-for-all. And it seemed like the Sharks were coming back a little bit, but you did have the early Besser goal. And again, that's another one where I look at Jones and I sit there and I'm like, dude, I don't want you to be hung out to dry. You literally had, if you drew a line from the center of the crease out, you had almost all 5 Sharks on one side, and Besser has all day in the world to get that shot off. Now, was it one-on-one with Jones and maybe 7 feet away from Jones? Maybe if Jones is hugging the pipe a little bit more, if he comes out more to challenge, who knows? I think both the Sharks and Jones could have played that better in that situation. But I do totally agree with you, Eric, that it was going back and forth, but it did feel like once Pavelski got the go-ahead goal, then the Sharks started to kind of lock it down, cleared their zone better, didn't allow any transition or anything through the neutral zone for the most part, no matter, what Vancouver was trying to throw. So that's my take, Rocket.
Cool.
Oh my God. She's like Justin Timberlake on the Very Good Talk Show sketch. Is there anything to add? No.
Great. No.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, look,
excellent.
I
Outstanding.
agree,
Okay,
man.
go ahead,
Like,
okay.
I really was getting kind of a wee bit, just a skosh, frustrated with some people on Twitter who were really nagging on Jones for that second goal. And I beg to differ with him, because I went back and, you look at it and you see that there's nobody to Jones' right. There is nobody in a teal jersey, teal sweater, teal face pad, whatever you want. Nobody. It's just tumbleweeds and Canucks as far as the eyes can see. Maybe if he hugs the post, but also, where was everybody on the right-hand side?
No, I absolutely agree. I'd also wonder too if the Sharks would have had a lead in this game, or I should say more of a lead in this game, had the Chris tumble nucks.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the Sharks would have been further ahead earlier on had the Barracuda not played a game earlier, because the ice, even Couture said at post game that, yeah, the ice wasn't great. It was better than the last time that there was a doubleheader, but still the ice was not great. You saw Sorensen on one shift with 2 golden opportunities, and both times the puck just looked like it was being influenced by crappy ice. So, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens against Boston on Monday, because it's another doubleheader, kids.
Revenge. Squancha. Gonna take the yacht out.
I'm also real happy because just Couture, Pavelski, and Meier, it seemed for like the last few games, or since All-Star break or whatever, it really, everything's been centralized around Hurdle's line. And like it seemed like Couture hadn't scored in a while. It seemed like Meier, Meier broke out of a slump not too long ago. But yeah, Couture, so it was really nice to see those guys, like the entire third line, get the 3 stars, get all the goals. And of course, beautiful to see Erik Karlsson after 9 games come in and be like, what groin injury? I'm as fast as I've ever been.
I wouldn't go that far, but sure, okay.
Oh, he was pretty lickety split tonight.
Yeah, I was
You
going to
say
say,
so.
what did you two think of EK65's return on this night with his primary assist on the first goal?
Dude, the primary assist was badass. He could have gotten a tertiary assist on the later goal. So he looked solid tonight.
No, he didn't.
On
that second goal, he had nothing to do with it.
No, Pavelski. But I'm telling you, man, you know what? She's got a hate on for Karlsson. I don't know what it is.
I don't have a hate on. I just keep expecting him to do better than he's done. If he were a...
She wants him to play more cowbell, is what.
If he were a 5'6" defenseman who went out there and struggled every night with a crappy partner, but he still did decent things, you would be able to, you know what I mean? But he isn't.
Sounds like we're talking about Brendan Dillon, but go on.
But he's elite level. He's like, oh, the sun rises and sets with his stick. Oh, look at his mustache. He's such a pirate. Oh, I get it, but I don't see it translated on ice. Now, I'm not saying that it's not there, and I'm not saying that I dislike his play. I'm just saying I haven't been impressed with it to the level that everyone else seems to be impressed with it.
Well, I think the reason why they're impressed with it is he's put up a staggering amount of numbers. I mean, you looked after the first 25 games, and Brent Burns has something like 36 points, and Karlsson has like 8, and everybody's going, crap, maybe this trade is not going to work out. And then you fast forward another 30 games or whatever it's been, or 20 games, and all of a sudden Erik Karlsson is right behind Burns in points. Clearly, it took him a little while to find his vibe, but then he just started to kill it. He had like 28 points in 26 games.
Yeah, I know. Broke a bunch of records. What did he do?
Well, isn't that what you're looking for in that kind of a player?
Kind of, but I would like somebody. All right.
Who is it that you want?
No, listen, it's not that. It's that it's how I felt with Hurdle. It's how I felt.
You will not disparage Hurdle.
It's how I felt with Hurdle after he had his second knee injury. It was how I felt when Rafi Torres need somebody and then sat out and then completely destroyed all the cartilage in his knee, and it was like, oh, he's not coming back. Anytime anybody gets injured, I just want him to be able to last the entire season in playoffs. Or even if he misses this stretch, if he just lasts the rest of the season and lasts through playoffs, and that's fine. I'll have buried my hatchet at the end of the season.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait until we do the show, which Rocket will be on and be the primary focus of when Erik Karlsson signs his 8-year deal.
Oh, Lord. He better not sign an 8-year deal. He's way too old for an 8-year deal. Doug, don't do that to us.
Way too old? He's like 28 years old, man.
Right. So 28 plus 8, 36. Yeah, no.
And do you know what Brent Burns got at what
I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't do it, Doug.
That's why he has to do it in order to get the price in the term.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
don't do it, Doug.
No,
he doesn't.
Does. If he doesn't, somebody else will.
No.
Just like with Burns.
No. I don't know.
I feel like we've gone down a rabbit hole yet again.
Yeah. No, we really have.
Okay. Well, so
final stats on the night. Canucks outshot the Sharks 34-26 in the face-off circle. The Sharks own the Canucks 61-39. Power plays. The Sharks had the lone power play goal early on. They finished 1-for-4 on the night. Canucks go 0-for-4 themselves.
Give it up for the Sharks. I think the Canucks have had like 12 or 13 power play opportunities and have scored once. And they've scored like 4 of their last 47 opportunities. The Canucks power play is nothing to write home about. Now, granted, you take into account that they've had a lot of man injury games. No Tanev tonight, no Bo Horvat tonight. Missing pieces all over the place.
Horvat played tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now, who am I thinking of? It was Tanev. Or as Rocket says.
What do I say?
Vertinen.
Oh, sorry. I was too busy reading
Just looking up stats, ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever. Burn it.
Yeah. Anyway, Canucks missing some pieces, but anyway, you were saying about stats.
Nikolai Goldobin, former Shark prospect Nikolai Goldobin, the only guy on the ice tonight that was a -2.
Former Sharks first round pick, I think, is the better way to get into that. Traded for one, Yannick Hansen. Wow, that worked out well.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't it?
Yeah, right.
Well, it kind of did.
Mr. Chango in the chat. Anybody think the Sharks are showcasing Gambrell?
Yeah, I could see it possibly.
That is not a that's not a bad question at all, and it could very well be. I'm going to be honest. I was quite surprised Radil did not play tonight because I thought Radil had a decent game the other night versus Washington. So,
but how much can you showcase in 5 minutes and 54 seconds, though?
Oh,
enough to know that you don't want to showcase this person at the expense of losing your game or winning your game. Gosh, listen to me English.
Yeah, no, I get that, but it's, hasn't Gambrell played like 4 out of the last 5 games? So, I mean, perhaps it is a case of, it's also the idea of playing Gambrell to see what you have as you get closer to the trade deadline too. It's like, there's the idea of showcasing a player, but there's also saying, what do we have in this guy? Like, will this be a component that will help us move forward, or is this like proving that we need to add another piece because we can't get by with Gambrell at this point? I like Gambrell's game. I think this is a kid I want to see him in 2 years, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be way too early to compare him to anybody right now, especially since he's not registered his first point in the NHL yet. But, you know, we talked about getting buried with your line mates, and granted, Chris Tierney was buried with freaking John Scott for forever in 3 days. But, you know, I think this guy can slowly work his way up to the lineup in the next couple of years, but he's got to show something at the same time.
Yeah. Jerry F in the chat saying Gambrell has looked mediocre since he was recalled. Yeah, I don't think he's, you know, I'm not saying he's a showstopper. I'm saying he's better than he was at the beginning of the season. That's progress. Whereas Goldobin, it seemed like every time he got a call up, it was like, oh, same guy who'd rather be wakeboarding and scoping the babes than playing hockey. I'm not seeing that with Gambrell. Gambrell, it looks like this is a kid who wants to get better. I don't know that he took it personally enough that he got played out of a spot by Charche and Suomela at the beginning of the season. So hopefully I don't know, just work on your game, kid. Again, he's one of those kids that I want to see him in a year and a half. Let's see it took Meier and LeBanc were not Sharks overnight. Took them time to learn. How many times did Timo Meier take dumbass penalties when he was part of the CUDA? Took them a little bit to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see Gambrell learn that spot. That's all I'm saying. Could he be a piece to trade? Perhaps, but we'll see. My bigger thing is the fact that the Sharks have been carrying 8 defensemen all season long because Heed and Ryan will not pass waivers. They won't. Now, those are the guys, I think. And I almost think to a certain extent now, Eric, tell me I'm wrong, to quote our favorite Vancouver radio station. Tell me I'm wrong. This Erik Karlsson injury was kind of a blessing in disguise for the Sharks because it offered them the opportunity to showcase Tim Heed.
You would be right, sir. I mean, Tim definitely had some chances there. He looked pretty decent on the power play too. That's one of the main reasons why PDB would put him into the lineup for sure. But you are showcasing guys, so if you do make a move, you have guys that other teams have footage on. So it'll be interesting to see what they would do and what could come of it, because I mean tonight is when we record this, February 16th, we're almost a week away from the trade deadline. Something's got to give, and I can't see the trade that happened earlier today and the Jake Muzzin trade to Toronto be the only trades that go down.
Yeah. Let's hit a couple things on the chat. Chris, I was able to listen to a bit of the game. Hetty was pretty harsh on Vlasic's game. What did you guys think? For me, I still think he's coming back into form. I think it was better than what we saw in October and November. Was it the Vlasic we're used to? I don't think so. I think he still has another level to get to.
He's getting there. He had some nice breakups, but he also had a couple of giveaways too, for that matter.
Rock?
Mr.
What? What? I don't know what this means. What do you have to say? Use your words, Rock.
I got nothing to say.
I ain't got nothing. I do like Four Paws comment in the chat. Hetty's always critical of D-Man because he thinks he can do better being an XD. And you know what, Four Paws? I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Dude,
too many times.
Ready to jump over the boards when he's down on the ice. He is like ready to go to jump out and beat the crap out of somebody, it seems like, which I'm totally fine for, if that matter, if we get away with it.
But what's funny is Hetty is he's a defenseman from the older style of hockey. I think he would get run in today's hockey, to be honest with you. I think it would take, Hetty was not the most fleet of foot.
Oh yeah, that guy's a pylon.
Yeah, he wasn't an offensive weapon. So, but give it up for guys who think that, that act like they could strap them on yesterday and be a factor. But sure. Mr. Chango, why wasn't Karlsson put on long-term IR to save cap space? That, my friend, is the $64 million question. I do not know. I wonder if there was a part of maybe Karlsson being too optimistic about where he was. Maybe it was the doctors, because we heard before they started the 4-game road trip where it was, Erik Karlsson will be expected to join the team on this road trip. Not only did he not make the trip, he didn't even play in the game that they played after they got back from the trip. Why they didn't put him on LTIR, I have no idea. I mean, some sort of retroactive IR to free up some space would have been a beautiful thing. The Sharks, if I know correctly, deadline cap space factored in at 5.3. Yeah.
Maybe it was just one of those poor decisions that was pertaining more towards it's just a groin sprain. You only be out for like 3 games. It should be fine.
Chris S. in the chat. Hetty is so critical at times. I wonder how long until he'd be platinered out of San Jose. Oh man. I would love to have a hold on. I would love to have a trade to announce. We're trading Hedekin to Edmonton for Drew Remenda. Yeah, I would take that. I would take that in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'm not the. I'm just
not gonna get rid of Hetty. His wife
I know.
lives here.
Yeah, I know. They're not. I mean, Hetty sometimes it's, Chris saying I like Hetty, it keeps it real. He keeps it to me, Baker for the most part, I think is a pretty realistic guy. But Hetty, sometimes he makes some comments though that just make me cringe. There's some takes that he do. It's like they're either so painfully obvious. It was just, it's like, wow, this sugar is really sweet. Did you expect it to be something, like sometimes it's a little too simplistic, some of his comments. That's one of my biggest beefs with Hetty. My biggest beef with Hedekin at the beginning when he first started with the Sharks is there was so many times is somebody would go to him as a former player and say, what do you think the guys are talking about in the locker room after, going in after the first being down 3-0? And he would literally start every comment with, well, when I was playing, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, that's not what we asked you. It was, what do you think the players are talking about? And he, a lot of times in that first season, he tended to make things about him. And he seems to have gotten beyond that, thank God. But that was something that turned me off to him very early on. But, that's the whole thing, though. Every color guy, call guy, it's all subjective. One guy's, it's the whole, one man's trash is another man's treasure type of thing. Some people think, well, I've yet to meet anybody that thinks Randy Hahn is as bad as his job. Most people think Randy Hahn is really good, whereas Doc Emmerich, that is very much love and hate. And so again, it's all subjective. Chris, I think Hedekin will go national at some point. Can it be tomorrow?
Yep.
I'm just saying. God. Can it be tomorrow? I'm just not a fan.
I don't think he'll go national just for the fact that he's from the West Coast. I think you need to be.
Yeah. Well, Chris saying my biggest beef with Hedekin is how he'd always talk about his Hurricane days. Exactly what I was saying earlier, where it was the whole, well, when I was playing, and it's like, yeah, get over that. But anyway, okay, I think we probably need to get back into the game. It's all subjective, people.
Hey, Sharks won.
Yeah, Sharks won. There you go. Oh, dear Lord, let's just get me out of here.
Earlier today, the San Jose Barracuda played a game against the San Diego Gulls, and it was not a pretty one. If your name was Sam and you played for the Gulls, you had a good day. Sam Carrick with 2 goals, Sam Steele with the goal, and a phenomenal night or phenomenal day for Jeff Glass, the Gulls netminder. He made 40 stops on 43 shots as the San Diego Gulls destroy the Barracuda 8-3 at the Tank today. San Diego 3 for 6 on the power play. The Barracuda go 1 for 7 on theirs. For the Barracuda, Alexander True gets his 15th of the season in the middle frame. Rourke Chartier his 5th. Keaton Middleton gets his 6th in garbage time. Definitely a rough go around with it. Doesn't help that the Barracuda would take a 2-minute 5-on-3 that essentially set up the San Diego Gulls' first goal and kind of carry the momentum on there. And unfortunately, the Barracuda allow 4 goals in the second period. Antoine Bibeau had a rough go of it today, and but they will get things back together Monday at 1:15 for Orange You Glad Day.
Here's the deal. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, first 4,000 fans can cop an orange San Jose Barracuda jersey. Very nice deal. But the whole thing is they're going to face a San Diego team that, let's be honest, if they move them to Anaheim and put Anaheim's team back in San Diego, would anybody notice? Anaheim might increase their standings. But they got to face San Diego again after the loss today. Then they have to play Iowa 3 of their next 4 games. And Iowa is doing very well. It's after the great start that the Barracuda had, boy, they're going to have some tough sledding over the rest of their season to get to the playoffs. Their schedule is not friendly, my friend. And a lot of it has to do with other teams surging. The Condors, what did they win? Like 12, 13 games in a row? And
they won their 15th tonight.
Oh,
wow. In a row.
Wow.
Okay. And to start off March, the Barracuda have 3 straight games versus Bakersfield. So the Barracuda have their work cut out for them in a huge crapping way.
Wow.
Big way. Huge. What was that from? Pretty Woman, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Big mistake.
Yeah. Big mistake. Huge. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh boy.
Goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
It's wraparound, for crying out loud. Let's get to the action that occurred on this day in the National Hockey League. Flyers 6, Red Wings 5 in overtime. Konechny gets 2 goals, including the game winner, 127 into overtime. Rockets' least favorite Red Wing actually scored in this game, so puck him.
He's a bum.
He is a bum.
He can play, but he's a bum.
Pittsburgh, thanks for not showing up today. Flames 5, Penguins 4.
But can we talk about the elephant in the room for a second? The Penguins beat the hell out of the Flames PK stat today. Giving up 3 power play goals. Woo. And don't think that Malkin isn't a little hot behind the collar after that suspension.
Wow.
He got 2 goals to make it interesting for the Penguins, but it wasn't enough. 5 for the final. Cheap shot artist Sam Bennett with the game-winning goal, his 11th on the campaign. In Colorado, the Blues have won 9 in a row. They beat the Avalanche 3-0. What happened to the Avs there as the Avs get shut out from... They're on a roll, and now they've taken the number 3 spot in the Central.
Everybody switched them to like purple Gatorade or something?
I don't know. Speaking of purple Gatorade, I think the Leafs need some because they got shut out by the Desert Dogs 2-0 in front of a sellout crowd in Glendale.
Wow.
Galchenyuk and Archibald.
Were they giving away cars? Like, how did they sell out that building?
All of the Toronto fans got cheap tickets and cheap flights, dude.
Evidently.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It's all the snowbirds.
Yeah, that's all Toronto fans, man. I'll tell you what, though. I feel good for all of the Arizona Coyote fans who are in attendance at that arena because to watch that game had to just feel so good. To watch your team shut out Austin Matthews and the Leafs, like, oh, yeah, that's got to be like. I mean, I'm not going to jump off the Sharks bandwagon anytime soon, but I do pull for other teams because I want them to be successful. Not even on the scoreboard, but like just as a team in general. I think they deserve fans. I think all the teams deserve fans. They just deserve support. So when events like this happen, it grows the support for that team a little bit. And that's one of the teams that definitely needs it right now. So, all right, now that AJ's back, I can stop talking.
What did I miss?
Nothing. Just the support for the Coyotes is much needed, and this helps immensely.
Yeah.
Maybe they can share games with Carolina and help them out too.
Oh my gosh, a combined Selly. Oh,
throw in Florida. Which by the way, the funny thing is, I was listening to our favorite Vancouver radio station. Apparently, the National Lacrosse League team in Vancouver sells more tickets than the Florida Panthers do. Ouch. In Winnipeg, the Ottawa Senators beat the Jets 4-3 in overtime.
Oh, former Sharks alert!
Rudolph Balcers, the former Sharks prospect and Barracuda, gets his second of the season on the power play. The Winnipeg Jets give up 3 power play goals on the night as Matt Stone and Matt Duchesne get goals there. Could it be their last goals in Sens uniforms?
Dude, that's a great question. And 2 things. First off, stick taps to Balcers, because that dude got absolutely leveled earlier in the week. Destroyed. But Zingle, that would be a nice piece in San Jose. I'm just saying. But the Jets have gone like 2-4 since playing the Sharks. What the hell happened? And it's not like dude, I was gonna say, it's not like the door wasn't fully wide open for them. I mean, the Senators, you just lost. Granted, in overtime, a loss is a loss. So you just lost to the worst team in hockey in your own barn after I think the entire season they had lost 4 home games.
They're not the worst team in hockey. Come on now.
The Senators are the worst team in hockey, okay? But the Jets were one of the best at home. So to lose wow, that is staggering. I don't know what has happened in Winnipeg. Who was that coach for Winnipeg a year or 2 ago who it was all over social media that he just lost his shit on the team during a practice? Don't you remember that? Yeah, wasn't that Winnipeg? I thought it was Winnipeg.
I thought it was Minnesota.
Yep. You know what? I knew it was one of those teams that had an INN in it. You're right. It was Minnesota.
Moving along, Tampa Bay 3, Montreal 0. 3 goals in the third period by Kucherov, Gord, and Johnson get the victory for the Lightning. Vasilevsky with the shutout over Carey Price. On Long Island, the Islanders score 3 in the third to beat the Oilers 5-2. Nugent Hopkins and Draisaitl alone goal scorers for the Oilers, and Matthew Barzal picks up his 17th of the season. The Islanders continue to roll.
Still first in the Metro?
I believe so.
Yeah,
still first in the Metro.
Continue to roll. Sans Tavares doing better without JT in the house. However, Koskinen not doing themselves any favors after that contract, but okay.
Yeah, earlier in the day, yesterday, was it? That Cam Talbot went to Philadelphia for Anthony Stolarz to end any goaltending controversy in Edmonton. So, in Carolina, the quote-unquote jerks of the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes, limbo their way to a 3-0 victory over the Dallas Stars. Justin Williams, McGinn, and Michael Furland with the goals for the Hurricanes as Mrazek gets the shutout.
That's a game I'm surprised that Khudobin didn't pick up the net and throw it at someone. Not good callback right there for those of you who know.
In Chicago, the Blackhawks lose 5-2 to the Neon Buggers that are the Columbus Blue Jackets. Former Chicago Blackhawk and Terry Panarin with 2 goals on the night to get the victory as Sergei Bobrovsky gets the victory for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Kane and Taves get the goal scorers for Chicago. In Vegas, the Golden Knights win 5-1 as they score 3 goals in the third period. Malcolm Subban with the victory there as
Was it
Saros takes the loss.
Was it like Back to the Future night there tonight? Like, why the hell was Michael J. Fox there?
Well, why wouldn't he be? Maybe.
Well, I mean, he's a good Canadian boy. Wouldn't he be at a Canadian team?
Maybe he doesn't live in Canada. Maybe he lives in Las Vegas.
Well, all right.
Maybe he's in town. Well,
okay, I'm just saying.
The Bruins were in town in LA tonight, and they get a 4-2 victory over the Kings.
Bruins. Sorry.
They were wicked awesome with DeBrusque, Marchand, McAvoy, and Bergeron getting the goals for the Bruins. Kovalchuk, apparently on the trade block, gets his 12th of the season. IFL also gets his 12th in the loss for the Kings. So that
this is what scares the crap out of me. Next games versus Boston, right? They have won 7 of their last 8 games. And now, granted, you can sit there and go, well, you can't get too crazy because they just beat LA and Anaheim in back-to-back games, 2 of the worst teams in the West. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll give you that. But they beat the Islanders. They've beaten the Capitals. They've beaten the Avalanche. Now, granted, the Avalanche haven't been a lot to write home about lately either, but they're still fighting. But either way, this is a Boston team that had a lackadaisical January. They have lost 1 game in the month of February, people. Monday night is going to be that's going to be another one of those Sharks games where it's either going to be held to the and the Sharks pull out another 3-2, 4-2 victory, or it's going to be similar to what we saw versus Washington on Thursday, or what we saw versus Winnipeg at the end of December, just before Christmas. It's going to be one of those 2 things, my friends. I'm telling you right now. To me, this is not going to be a game that goes to overtime or sure. This is going to be a game that is like, it's going to be a 2-3 goal game winner. And I just don't know who is going to be on which side of it. You're talking about a San Jose Sharks team that right now, 77 points. Yeah. Boston, 74 points, has won 4 in a row, 6-1-3. That 1 regulation loss in their last 10 games, people. Monday night's going to be a hell of a fun game.
And if you bought the special ticket, you can get that Kevin LeBanc piggy bank, but it's only that special ticket. Yes.
That looks nothing like Kevin LeBanc sitting in the penalty box.
That's what I'm saying. That's all. That's what I'm saying. If the Sharks do not put out a LeBanc in the penalty box, it has to have the little score strip on the bottom that just says too many men, 2 minutes. That has to be a part of it. That would be so
though it's funny that PDB gets asked that and has a great answer for it with the media the other day. It's like, well, it's either him or Deller that's going to go into the box, and like, wow, okay.
Yeah, well, who I'm a little surprised that you don't see serve that once in a while is Donskoy. Not a power play guy, not a PK guy. Kind of same.
For that matter, like Gambrell.
Or I was going to say, Gambrell. No, because he's a PKer. No, Melker is a huge penalty kill guy. And I was wrong, when I was saying no, not a penalty killer, not a power play guy. No, LeBanc is a power play guy. He is not a penalty killer. So, but I do think that Rocket has a point. Like, Gambrell, you said Carl's.
I was wrong.
Yeah, no, Eric said Gambrell. Yeah, I think Gambrell. I mean, dude, if you're only going to play him 6 minutes, why not why not throw him in the butt? Give him a different viewpoint of the game for 2 minutes. It can only help.
Right?
Just saying. Laurel, are you enjoying the new bed that Kayla has now? We've gone gray. We used to have tan. Now we've gone to gray. And you can see that I rubbed it and I've woken her up and pissed her the hell off.
It's 3 cat beds stacked on top of each other. She's the princess in the pea right now.
Yes, she has to have the most plush comfort available to her. She's an old crotchety woman, man. We got to make everything as comfortable as possible. So you wait till about 30 years, 35 years when Rocket is old and crotchety. She will want 3 beds stacked on top as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to hang out right behind AJ while he podcasts the entire time.
Yeah.
And just give him dirty looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'll be sitting
I
here
can't
going,
wait for that.
yeah. Oh my God. Are you kidding? In 30 years, we're still sitting here and I'm going, I thought that Joe Thornton had a horrible night tonight. I just can't believe he's still playing.
He's on his 11th rebuilt knee.
Yes. Oh, they can't go about, but that new prospect we have, Tomasz Hertl III, looks fantastic.
5 goals in one game is so disrespectful.
And Jumbo's beard is now getting in the way of him skating because it's so long.
No, Jumbo's beard is coaching the team.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, at that point, you know what? In 30 years from now, it's probably just like an EA. It's like an electronics sport. What do they call that? What's that thing where they call it a sport, but it's basically a bunch of jerk offs like sitting in the room playing video games?
Wow.
Video games?
No. Esports. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By that time, hockey, all sports will just be esports. It'll just be player,
19.
Yeah, everybody will just be watching a video screen because that's how realistic in 30 years EA games will be. That's how realistic they'll be. Yeah, you won't be able to tell the difference. So it's like, well, this way nobody gets hurt and blah blah blah. Well, okay, the occasional thumb injury, but other than that, the thing you have to worry about at the end of a game when somebody wins is somebody, when they do the talk afterwards, somebody comes up there and goes, I had a really good time. And this is the most of a thumbs up they can do because they're so just, they can just, it was a really good game. And they cannot go full Fonzie. That's what I'm saying.
Rob Iman, in 30 years, we will finally have Bart service to the tank. Question is, will the tank still be there?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with eSports. There's nothing wrong with e-cigarettes either. It's there.
Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. What's wrong with esports? There's nothing wrong with it.
You're pissing off the gamers, dude.
Here we go. All right. Hold on. Give me a moment.
Hold on. Kayla's getting comfortable for this one.
Yep. Everybody.
Let's tell their affiliates we might be going along with this one tonight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, esports. I'm sorry. Okay. It's exactly like Rocket said a minute ago. It's not esports. It's a freaking video game. Okay. We didn't call Atari 2600 or ColecoVision or Intellivision or Nintendo. What the hell was the system called that you played Super Mario on? What was that?
It was a Nintendo.
It was just called Nintendo 64. I knew there was something behind it. Or what was the thing you played? Dreamcast, the Sega Dreamcast. Any of those that's called playing a fucking video game. All right, Asteroids was not an e-sport. The track and field game where you'd sit there and go blah, 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 that wasn't an e-sport. Okay,
Pong is not an e-sport.
No.
What?
Okay, look, you want to call them esports to make you feel better about your fat, lazy ass sitting there playing a video game? Sure.
What about Dance Dance Revolution, though? Because you're not sitting there.
Not an esport, but at least a physical activity. Just like the Nintendo Wii thing has the balance board stuff and the stuff that will get you up. Yeah. You know what? Because Dance Dance Revolution, you can't play in a seated position.
No.
Just like a lot of those Nintendo Wii games, you can't play in a seated position. No. But I'm sorry, Mario Kart, not a fucking sport.
No. Okay.
Just not, a lot of these things you can say, esports. I'm sorry. Then I need to ask my boss for a raise because I'm like, it's not esports, it's e-Photoshop.
Oh wow.
I'm e-coding.
Jerry in the chat, Dance Dance Revolution is e-Twister. Oh.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I remember a lot of standing around in Twister, or at least holding a position. You know what I mean? Commodore 64. Yeah, that's another good one.
Dance Dance Revolution is basically just a choreographed dance while you're waiting for the bathroom.
Dance Dance Revolution is what happens when you take the Jane Fonda workout tape 25 years into the future. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's literally what it is. So you can sit there and try to blow smoke up my ass about, esports or no, they're not a fucking sport. I'm sorry. They're not a fucking sport. You look at doing, going to any type of a sport where you actually have to go out.
That is so true.
Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, bicycling, blah, blah, blah. Things where you actually go out and burn calories. Fine. You know what? After you play an e-sport for 2 hours and I go out on a bike ride for 2 hours, let's compare Fitbits. And then you can tell me how your e-sport is working out for you. Okay. Sorry. You are playing fucking video games.
Yeah, the video game guys get hot wives. I'm sorry. If you're going to be that superficial, then you deserve the future you're going to have.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? Chances are your hot wife, she's probably e-sporting it more than you would like. You know what I'm saying? She's probably hitting some records and hitting the top of the category when it comes to the electronic devices. I'm just saying. Oh, Jesus Christ. Is chess a sport?
It's
no,
sports
it's not. Chess is not a fucking sport. It's a game. It's a board game. Chess is like Monopoly or backgammon. Now, granted, backgammon, Monopoly, those are things that, where it's rolling dice and, it's more of a game of chance. I will say, is chess a game of skill? Absolutely. Is it one of the most skilled games to play? Absolutely. Is it a fucking sport? No way in hell. It is a board game. There you go. Glad I'm so happy that I was able to clear that up for you.
They actually drug test for chess. Oh my God.
Hold on. Dave B saying some of those esport guys are more fit than you are, AJ. I'm sure they are. Genetics are a hell of a drug. I get that. You know what? Who gives a shit? There are some amazing bowlers that are fat bastards. You know what? They still get more physical exercise than esport guys. Look, you're never going to convert me on this one. You're just never going to convert me.
Chris in the chat says, I feel like I changed the channel and got Don Cherry's take on esports.
Well, but that's my whole thing is, you know what? Just like prove me wrong. Prove me, again, let's compare Fitbits. I'm sorry. You take let's give a Fitbit to a guy playing roller hockey, a guy doing a mountain bike, a guy playing flag football, a guy playing lacrosse, and a guy playing esports. I'm sorry. I'm going to put my money on the guys. That the guy who's going to lose the most amount of calories or anything like it's going to be the asshole sitting in the leather chair, just working out their thumbs. I'm sorry. It's not esports. I think is like the worst description ever. Like if you want to call them video game king, absolutely.
So I have a question for the chat. Do you guys like black licorice?
No, I don't like licorice.
You're not the chat, AJ.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chat, do you guys like black licorice? What's your opinion on it?
No. Okay, let me just tell the chat. When
no,
that I'm passionate about, yeah, I can spin the yarn a little bit, and I'm done.
Marty, but the guy sitting in the outfield all night is okay.
Oh, yeah, but how much of a workout does he get before the game starts?
That's true.
I mean, let's be honest. How much movement does a goaltender go? Skylar, okay, here's $2 to get back to talking about hockey. Absolutely, right. Yes.
So there's this hockey, and it's like being played Monday.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. So the Atlantic came out with a thing a couple days ago that basically broke down strength of schedule. They had Calgary's path to the playoffs about 5 levels easier than the Sharks. But if I remember correctly, when I wrote it down, the Sharks have like 2 more home games than Calgary. I don't know if that makes that big of a difference. Calgary also still has to play some pretty big teams that with monstrous records, or they're up there. Winnipeg, they just lost to Tampa the other night. I think they have to play Toronto again, and then they just lost. Who was the team that just lost to the worst team in hockey? Who lost to Ottawa tonight? Who was that again?
Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg. So, you sit there and you look at Winnipeg on Calgary's schedule and go, that could be a tough game. And it's like, well, Calgary or Winnipeg just lost to the worst team in hockey. So any given night, people, that's all I'm saying. But the Sharks, it's that idea. And I'm sure Erik has heard this until the day is long. You control your own destiny. It's a great phrase used in football. You control your own destiny. And right now the Sharks control their own destiny. Do the Sharks have one more game against Calgary before the end of the season? I thought they did. Like
Yes,
last
they
three.
do.
Yeah, like last
Late
3
March.
games, right?
They don't. Mr. Chanko, Calgary does not have no goaltending. Mike Smith is an amazing goaltender.
Rittich has been their moneymaker this season.
No goaltending.
Just Toronto has lost to the Dogs. So yeah, any given night. Just saying. So the Sharks control. The Sharks also have more back-to-backs. That is incorrect. They don't. The Calgary and the Sharks both have 3 back-to-backs left. But yeah, I'm sure the Sharks do have more miles to travel. But we will see. But I worked out strength of schedule before the game against Washington, and we were literally talking winning percentages. The Sharks are facing 48.26 versus 48.21 for Calgary. That's how close it is. So Calgary has no goaltending. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They have goaltending.
They have goaltenders. They do not have full-time goaltenders, but they still have the tenders of the goal.
Okay, so Erik, 7-game series between Calgary and San Jose. Who are you taking? Honestly, now, be honest. Everybody's healthy. Who would you take in that?
San Jose.
Regardless of home and away, like who's got the 7?
Regardless who has game 7 at home, I'm going San Jose. Hands down, I think they have a more overall built lineup. Defense is pretty much on par, although I'll give the edge to San Jose if they're healthy. And I think all around they can be good. I think, Jones can have that shaky 5-minute goal. I mean, I'm kind of used to it now. I think you can take on Calgary.
Yeah, I'm feel the exact same way. I think the Sharks are a deeper team. With the center position, they're more balanced than Calgary. Calgary, I think, is one of those teams. If you can keep Johnny Hockey on the perimeter, if you can, what's the other cat's name? I always forget his goddamn name. The other big
Monahan?
name. Yes, that's it. Monahan and Johnny Hockey. If you can keep those guys almost, literally off the score sheet, you make Giordano be their top weapon. I think you can get by them. And honestly, between those two teams, I think goaltending is nearly a wash.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that because
I'm sorry.
I don't know about that. I don't know if Arundel or Martin Jones has the track record of just falling off and bursting into flames in spectacular fashion that Mike Smith does. And he doesn't always. Sometimes he's on lock, but sometimes, man, he's just not good.
But right now, Smith is not the starter. It's Rittich.
Yeah, I know.
So that's...
Granted, Smith got the win today.
That too. Well, he probably
watches right twice a day.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, but Smith is also... Well, let me see. Okay, Smith got the win today. Who did Arizona beat?
Toronto.
Right.
Okay, exactly. So was Smith caught chirping at Marner or Matthews or Tavares at any point during that game on the bench? Because evidently that's when he bursts into flames. Not, pun not intended. Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be here all night. Well, not really, but.
But to me, the whole thing is it just comes back down to the whole idea of the Sharks control their destiny. Just keep pace. Win that game on the 31st of March, clearly, but just keep pace with Calgary, but win your important games. When Calgary loses, that's the night you got to win. Just keep playing well And now with EK65 back, hopefully we see more consistency. Again, I want to see Vlasic bounce back. I just want to see the defense as a whole bounce back. He had a good stretch of games, but I want to see that bounce back. But let's see the Sharks in 2 weeks have a 2, 3, 4 point lead over Calgary. We need Calgary and Vegas to face each other in the first round. I know Vegas is kind of like dropped off a cliff over the last 2 weeks, but still, the Sharks, let's be honest, regular season doesn't matter. Hockey jerk patent pending. But regular season doesn't matter. But who would you rather see? Would you rather see Colorado or Minnesota in the first round, or would you rather see Calgary or Vegas? Let's be honest. The way that the playoffs are set up now, it's fucked up that if you finish first, you play a team that might have squeaked in or whatever. And if you finish just one shade down, all of a sudden you're playing a really, really good team because of this whole 2 versus 3 thing. I would so much rather go back to 1 versus 8. But either way, this is where you're at. So you have to win your division. Let Vegas and Calgary beat the hell out of each other.
I like that idea.
I concur. So, at the moment, Calgary has first place because they have a game in hand on San Jose. Both teams are tied at 77 points and 35 rows.
And you said that Calgary has a game in hand that doesn't align until February 27th. On the 27th, they will both have played the same amount of games.
Oy.
Let's have a nice 4-point lead on Calgary by that day.
That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. In the Central, Winnipeg is hanging on to a 3-point lead over Nashville. Winnipeg has 2 games in hand on the Predators. However, St. Louis is in the number 3 spot now. They've won 9 in a row.
Oh, my God.
And they have 4 games in hand on Nashville.
What?
And
what? Like,
yeah.
What happened with St. Louis all of a sudden? This has been unbelievable. These guys could win the division.
They could steal it. I mean, if St. Louis plays those 4 games and gets points, they're at 73, and they're right in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Winnipeg, we've seen them just for some reason have gone off a cliff since playing San Jose. St. Louis has a shot at winning that division. Could you imagine? And how great would a first round between Winnipeg and Nashville be? Oh, my God.
They beat the crap out of each other. Dallas and Minnesota are your wild cards. Dallas at 63 with 58 played. Minnesota 58 played at 60. And then the rest of the conference behind Minnesota sits at the most 8 points out of a wild card spot. That's just crazy.
Oh, let's hit the chat up real quick before we get out of here. Our schedule looks better than Calgary's going forward by a hair. But
just a scotch.
But I think travel balances that out. So you just got to win the games you're supposed to win, and do that. NBC Sports California should tab Puck Guy and AJ for the Sharks Outsiders. Let's just say a pilot has been filmed. Let's see. Let's see. Blues were beating each other up in practice a few months ago. Hey,
exactly.
if that's what it takes, just saying. NHL Trump, Blues are a fluke. Don't buy them winning around in the playoffs. I don't care if they take first in the first. If they're first in the Central and lose in the first round, fine by me. Makes the path a little easier for the Sharks. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They can steal the Central and in turn save Doug Armstrong's job.
Very true, Felix.
You are not wrong.
Rob Iman saying Jim Nill is on the hot seat in Dallas. Yeah, I think Dallas really needs to make the playoffs this year, even though they're under first-year coach, former Shark, Jim Montgomery.
Well, I was going to say, there's no way in hell Montgomery falls on a sword for any of this. There's a point of execution, but there's also the point of, I can only cook with the groceries you've given me. And if you've given me, stale bread and bad meat, I'm going to cook you a really horrible sandwich. Just saying. And remember, this is also a team that was called out by what was the owner, the CEO,
president.
As the CEO.
Yeah, the president, who calls out Ben and Sagan. So yeah, Dallas, the fact that they're where they're at right now, I'm actually a little bit surprised, but hopefully things have calmed down there. But with Dallas, it wouldn't surprise me either way that if they somehow sneak into the third of the West or if they fall out of the wild card completely. It wouldn't surprise me because things are that tight in the Western Conference right now. Could go either way. Which, you know what, though? Makes for a very fun last 2 months of hockey.
It's going to be really fun. You're going to have the division battles, and then you're going to have the battles for the wild card. True. What it may not be fun for is trade deadline. Since so many teams are in contention, it makes you wonder if anybody's going to make major moves. I could see maybe more Eastern trades, but nothing within the conference.
Yeah. And we will discuss as I get sooner. So let's wrap this one up. We will see you after Boston Sharks on Monday for another round of Teal Town After Dark. Don't forget, either tomorrow night or Monday morning, chances are Monday morning, there will be a new episode of the Pucknologists for you to enjoy that will wrap up this week in Sharks hockey. So do us a favor, if you would, catch us everywhere. We're always available on tealtownusa.com. That's where you can find all of the content. But if you're more of a direct person and love having 27 different applications on your phone, well, we're on all of them. So whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, doesn't even matter. But what does matter? Subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's where you can find the majority of everything. And with that, we'll go to Rocket as to where we can find you on the social media channels.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rocket Backhander. You can find me talking about hockey.
Oh, we're already sliding into it. I love it.
I'm talking about hockey over on my Twitter. And I'm working on my Boston accent because I have nothing better to do with my time, apparently. Give me something better to do with my time other than practice this ridiculous Boston accent. You can find me over at Twitter talking about hockey things and other stuff. Miss you too, Forepaws. That's a capital R, capital B, little Backhander 76 at Backhander 76 on the Twitter, or check out my photographic representation of all things going on in my life right now. Sharks, rain, groceries, whatever. I don't know. It's Rocket Backhander, one word, Instagram.
Hey now,
Erik.
You said, what are you talking about? I'm too busy throwing up graphics. I'm AJ_strong on the Twitter, on the Instagram. And now that Rock is back in the correct time zone on the right coast, in the, shall we say, the general metropolitan area of the San Jose Sharks practice facility, you will see some more interesting things on the Teal Town USA Instagram. So go check that out. There you go. Left coast is the best coast. So with that, I'm AJ. And again, new Pucknologists will be rolling out in the next 36 hours. So deal with that, yo. What up, Erik?
Not much.
Why is the nameplate on your basketball jersey suddenly like blanked out? Did you do something when I wasn't looking?
No, it fell down.
Oh, now I get what you're trying to do. Okay. That's adorable.
I know. Thank you so much. So thanks for watching. Keep it real. Keep it teal.
Tell the people where you
they
are.
They don't need to see my crazy pictures on.
Would you like
Instagram
to show them your legs? Just hang one up.
Yeah.
Throw one up there. Come on.
Do it.
No.
Let's see a leg.
No. Unless somebody wants to donate money for it. No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to give everybody 60 seconds. Like 90, just like 99 cents. Let's just see a leg. Come on. Who wants to see Erik's hairy leg? Come on. He clearly doesn't want to do it, so we must spend the money to do this. Oh, 4 paws,
Yeah.
already saying she's going to throw.
Oh boy.
Come on.
See now.
I'm down with it.
I just got a follow from somebody, so thank you for that. on the Twitter and the Instagram at PuckGuy14. So
what would you like more, hairy leg or short house voice? I'm just saying.
Oh dear.
Let's be real here. I think they would rather have short house than the hairy leg.
I don't know.
That's a sad world to live in.
Well, hey now, look at that.
Hey, hairy leg.
Does your wife Sherry know about your hairy leg fetish?
Come on, let's see it. Let's see it in your shorts. Look, everybody. Rob, Don Holio. Look, hairy leg. Really? Are you disabled, or is that as high as you can go?
I'm hurting. There you go.
There you go.
That? All right.
Oh
Wow.
my God. Okay.
Things right for the show.
All proceeds from this evening's show will go to Amanda. Eric's
Dollar
girlfriend,
Shave Club.
For going to pay for the Dollar Shave Club.
Mm-hmm. No pink tax.
Insert the Kelly Clarkson sounder here. Kelly Clarkson. So thanks for watching.
If you've ever
This
noticed,
is the Dollar Shave Club, not the Dollar Wax Club.
Yes. And if you've ever noticed, Eric gets to the tank at 6:45, but his leg hair arrives at 6:30.
That's the flow. It's got more flow than Marcus Sorensen does.
Wow, dude, I'm gonna pull a hurdle on you the next time I see you and just
Wow.
Pull the flip.
Wow.
If you get anywhere near my legs, so help you, AJ.
Okay.
So with that, thanks for watching. I hope nobody in the Sharks org is watching this one. Keep it real, keep it teal, keep
Just
it
having
real,
fun,
teal.
people.
Have a good night, everyone.
Hey, I'm Brody Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.
Hey everybody, Amanda here. You're listening to another podcast from Teal Town, USA.